Hello and welcome to Morning Coffee with Maddog Merv. I have some Kona roast today, and well, it's snowing outside. Let's see what's going on the channel, shall we? Welcome to Morning Coffee.
Maddog Merv today.
Got our French roast this morning
Bagel.
again.
I wonder I'm a big fat guy. I mean,
And then
holy
they put
cow.
I always had a schmear. A schmear.
He's
Schmear.
probably going for bagels. His friends do.
Oh my gosh, I can't even believe it.
I have no clue.
And I got a bunch of chores to do. Oh, who wants to do that?
Today's shout out goes to a channel that I just started watching called Skynia, SKY, and then NEA, Skynia. I'll put a link in there. Skynia History. And this, I've been doing some research on some of the warships, World War II, American warships, and he's got some really interesting videos that I learned a few new things from. So I always enjoy learning new things. It's just one of the things that I don't know, makes me roll, I guess, is learning new things. So check out his channel when you get a chance, Skynia History. Well, I hope you like the creepy crawlies, those those bugs. I used to have actually. I don't know what to call it other than a dead one, a preserved dead one in my. I used to have a history trunk, so it was a trunk that was made up to look like something from the Civil War, like a camp chest. And I would keep all my World War II memorabilia, a lot of my Civil War stuff that I would teach with. And I had one of those, dead ones, of course, in a little jar in there. But, of course, when they desiccate, then eventually their legs come off and all that stuff. And so, I wound up tossing it. But I used to have one. They're big, and they're nasty looking. And the part that they eat each other once they get, dead. So I first discovered them when I'd go out camping on scout camps, and then I would go out on my own with some friends to this place called Simpson Springs, and it's just off of the Dugway Proving Ground, so you can get up there on the hill, see the old Pony Express station, and you see. Off in the distance, the firing range, basically, for the Dugway Proving Ground. And quite often I'd take my 22 up. We'd just camp there and have a great old time, shooting at whatever. And one of the things, one year, we had these creepy crawlies come in, these big ones, and thought, well, that's a great target. So we'd shoot at them with our 22s. And then the other ones would come over and swarm on the one that was hit, and cannibals. So anyway, a friend of mine from down under, Chris, because I'd made the comment about how I'm sure there's creepy crawlies all over the world that I don't want to have anything to do with. He sent me some pictures. This I think it was a hand spider. It looks like something from a Halloween prop. It's huge. It actually looks like a woodlouse spider, which is kind of a red, menacing-looking spider that we have here that's only about this big. They actually eat roly-polies. They eat the potato bugs or pill bugs, whatever you want to call them. That's what they're hunting for. Well, this thing that he showed me, it looks like that, except for flipping gigantic. And then, of course, I knew about the huntsman spiders that are big, long things of nightmares that get into people's homes. Ugh. And, some of the other things, some of the crabs and other things they've got down under. No thanks. Rattlesnakes are bad enough. Jerusalem crickets are bad enough, Yeah. So, anyway, that was kind of fun. And I love corresponding with my friends who live around the world and have just different things go on. it's really neat to see some of the things from other places on Earth. And it was funny because that night, I get up in the middle of the night, use the bathroom, and I hear a ding on my phone. So I go look at it, because I'm one of those people that sleep with their phone on and their alerts on and all that stuff. Because when I worked for the school district, I was the go-to guy. If there was an emergency in the district, when a water main break or something and they needed it cleaned up, they called me. I was the go-to guy. That's how I moved up where I did in the school district. Was I was Mr. Johnny on the spot. When they needed somebody, they knew they could count on me. That, and with a large family, kids that don't always behave in the middle of the night, I just got used to that. So anyway, here it is, like 3 a.m, and I get a ding on my phone. Not unusual. So I look at it. This is my friend Chris from down under. And so I'm chatting with him a little bit on Messenger, and he's like, "Hey, wait a minute, isn't it like 3 a.m?" And yeah, I just got up to take a squirt, and now I'm going back to bed. So, oh man, the thing this channel brings me is a lot of fun, and I enjoy you folks immensely. So, when you send me messages or comment on the videos, I really enjoy it. It's just nice to hear from you. Well, this week on the channel, we are not going to have a, kit hoarder stash. Thank you very much. I'm going to wait for another week. So this week, no kit hoarder stash. The week after, yes, we will have a kit hoarder stash. It's going to be a Mustang kit. I'll tell you that right now. It's an old Mustang kit. Not an old Mustang. Anyway, it's one of those things, annual kits. That's it. From I want to say the 80s. So it's a Fox body Mustang that there's other ones out and available, but I haven't seen this one re-released. So anyway, we're going to look at that in 2 weeks or week and a half from now. Not this Thursday, week from Thursday. So I do hope you guys like that weird Lincoln that my friend found. And yes, I've got plans to make that into the Surfer Woody, custom Surfer Woody. I just have to decide on the color. I'm kind of going between a kind of a brown, and remember, it's going to have the wood grain sides in that. Maybe a root beer color, or perhaps white. Because I remember a lot of the station wagons, the Gran Torinos and LTDs in the 70s from Ford that had a white wagon with those graphics, or a brown wagon with those graphics, those wood graphics. Or I might do a turquoise. I'm not sure. So I'm working on all of that. But eventually we'll put that together and have a show for it. Speaking of the show, this week, I've got coffee on things here. By the way, my coffee is only warm. It's good. But, so it was nice and hot in the house, and I put it in my thermos. It had been in the thermos for maybe 30 minutes while I came out here, played a little ball with the dog and whatnot. Even though it's snowing, she has a great time playing ball. We do this every morning now. And after I did that, I pour my coffee, and it's warm. It's not hot. It's warm. Okay, it's still coffee, so I'm good. Oh, anyway, what was I gonna, tomorrow, I think what we're gonna do, I still want to do a little bit of work on this, Missouri that I've been working on before I really do a show on it, because I'm not making as quick a progress as I really wanted to on it. So we're going to look at the USS Lexington CV2 that I built years ago. I kind of had to redo it like I did the Hornet. I had to redo it just recently because when I got my office and I'm hanging stuff on the wall, and this thing had been sitting here for years, and so it had a crap ton of dust and dirt on it and grime that I had to clean up. But when I put it on the wall, something happened, and I wasn't present when it happened, and it fell about 5 feet. Good thing I used Tamiya glue to build the thing with, because there was relatively little damage. A few pieces popped off, a few, less than 10 probably, and I was able to find everything and make the repairs and a few upgrades that I wanted to do. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk a little bit about the Battle of Coral Sea, and because this is how it's painted, I have it in the Coral Sea configuration. So we'll talk a little bit about that, and then a Medal of Honor recipient from the state of Utah, who got his Medal of Honor through actions at the Coral Sea. So we're going to cover that on tomorrow's show. I'm kind of excited for that. I hope all you guys had a great Thanksgiving, whether you're here in the U.S. or somewhere else, and you know, however it's celebrated wherever you're at. I hope it was a great day. For us here, it was a great day. For one thing, I didn't have to cook, so that was great. I have a son who is an excellent cook. I've got some really talented kids, I'll just tell you that. And this one, he's an amazing photographer. He takes pictures that make you feel an emotion. He's amazing that way. He's also a great cook, and he really likes the Instapot, which I don't know anything about. So he says, "Dad, I'm going to make Cornish game hens." Okay, cool. So he invited his one sister over, and she's been wanting to learn how to use that Instapot. So that's what we had, was Cornish game hens and cream corn. Oh, man, it was so good. The potatoes and gravy, of course, I could have used a gallon of gravy, because, oh, man, it was all so good. You know, and all the other stuff and the other fixings that you have. I did make, for dessert, instead of pumpkin pie, broke from the norm, and I made, okay, so I did a little cooking, made some Dutch oven cobbler, which is very, very simple. We had cherry, and we were going to have peach, but when we opened up the can of peaches, it was a can of peaches and not peach pie filling, and there was some, you know, family members that were, well, that's not going to work, and I'm like, I've done it before, I know it will, but anyway, long story short, we decided to make cherry instead. So we have cherry and apple cobbler, and it's very, very simple recipe. If you have a not Blackstone, if you have a yeah, one of those things, if you have a Dutch oven, it's real easy. We used a spice cake mix. A lot of times you can just use white cake or yellow cake, but I like the spice better, so I use a spice cake, put that in. Of course, I put a liner sheet in there, so I don't have to work so hard to clean my Dutch oven out. It's well seasoned, but I put that in there. I put the spice cake, just, you know, pour it in, you know, the powder, and then my fruit, whatever it's going to be, so like the cherry pie filling, and a can of Sprite. Open up a can of Sprite, put that in, don't mix it up, just put it in, put the lid on, put it on the coals, and voila. It took about 40 minutes, and we had some amazing cobbler. It was so good. On the apple, we put some of those little red hot candies on the top, and oh man, it was so good. Anyway, that was our dinner. I hope you guys had a good one. Okay, so other than that, I have been working on the Lexington, getting it back in shape and getting it put on the shelf. I have been working on the Missouri here, and I'm building subcomponents. I also took, because we are going to have a tree this year with kind of Disney themed, so took some different figures that we had kind of laying around, and made ornaments out of them this week. So we're going to have a bunch of really cool, you know, Disney themed ornaments around the tree. or on the tree this year. So that ought to be fun. I think the grandkids will enjoy that. So between that and working on this, I am enjoying the heat out here. I've got this wonderful space heater a good friend of mine gave me, and I've never been able to run it at full capacity because I had a weak breaker system out here. And remember earlier this year, I spent a considerable amount of money to get 230 amp breakers here, or 20 amp, 220 amps, 2 different lines. So this is hooked up on a dedicated line. It runs great, and it keeps me nice and warm so I can actually work in here on days like this when it's 30 degrees outside. Yeah, it's going to be cold for a few days. Definitely going to be cold. Down in the 20s at night. And we'll be lucky to hit 40 anytime this week. So anyway, that's kind of what's going on here and on the channel. Thanks again for your support and everything you guys do. Again, I love hearing from you guys. It's always a treat. So we will see you tomorrow, USS Lexington, and enjoy the rest of your week.